So hello and welcome to week 29. Week 29 of our practices to start each week. These practices are practices that we use to help reduce stress. Today's practice I am calling from reactivity to response, the space to choose. From reactivity to response, the space to choose. Let's start with this quote. This is a wonderful quote from Viktor Frankl regarding this topic that we're going to be focusing on. And the quote reads like this: between stimulus and response, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. What we're talking about here is reactivity. We're talking about our, and if you notice this in yourself, how often do you find yourself reacting rather than responding? Something happens and you immediately react to it rather than take some time to respond. Reaction and response are two different things. One comes from a place of awareness, that's responding, comes from a place of being more present. And the other one comes from a place of being automated. Yeah, where we find ourselves reacting to stuff in an automated way. Some very simple things. Do you find yourself walking fast sometimes for no reason? Automation. Do you find yourself reacting to a comment, either in your thought, either in what you say back? Automation. Do you find yourself moving towards judgment so quickly? I often give the example of getting into your car if you do drive and driving to your local supermarket. When you park your car, you don't quite remember getting there. Automation. Response is where you bring awareness into what you do before you do it. Responding is about taking a pause and then doing what you have decided to do. It's about intention. So we're going to do a short practice today on how to pause so that we can respond better. And this is a meditation that we're going to use. This is a practice that we're going to be doing using the breath. And so getting yourself into a comfortable position. This is the way that we always start these practices. We get ourselves into a comfortable position. Whether you're sitting down, lying, walking, bringing awareness to the position that you have taken up. If you're sitting down, you're feeling the small of your back against the back of the chair. Your 2 feet are on the ground flat, and your hands perhaps are rested on your laps, face down. And if you're lying down, you're lying straight, your head perhaps on a pillow. And if you're walking, you're noticing as best as you can each step that you take as you move. Your eyes may be open or they may be closed. whatever works best for you. And you're bringing attention now to your breathing. Noticing the breathing happening to you in an automated way. You are being breathed. You don't really breathe yourself, as it were. You're being breathed. And now watching your breath, watching the automated nature of your breath, noticing, for example, the inhale as it happens, and how at the end of the inhale, automatically you start to exhale. Just noticing that. Inhale, breathing through the nose. At the end of that breath, notice how you start to exhale again through the nose. Notice that for a second. Notice too that at the end of the inhale rather, there's a gentle pause just before the exhale starts. See if you can pay attention to that pause. Just before the exhale starts, at the end of the inhale, gentle pause before the exhale starts. Even in your breathing, there is pause. And so for the next few seconds or minutes, I would like us simply to inhale, to notice that pause before the exhale. Notice the space in the pause before the exhale kicks in. Notice how you become even more aware of the space as you intentionally notice it. And as you notice that space, see if you can intentionally increase that space just before you kick in to exhaling. In this space is your power to choose, to be responsive, more responsive, less reactive. And as we come towards the end of this practice, making a commitment this week to pay attention to the space in between the inhale and the exhale. Letting that space become real for you. Let it become symbolic of the space that we will be dropping into during this week as we respond. and become less reactive. When you're ready, you can open up your eyes. And thank you for joining me in today's practice. And so that's what we're going to be doing this week. That's the tip. That's a practice this week. To breathe in, recognize the space that we have in between the end of the inhale. See if we can increase that pause a little bit before you exhale. Notice that space and let that space become symbolic this week in terms of how we show up as responsive human beings, not automated. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. See you next week.